I am really excited today. You know what? Because Mama Helen and you. I'm telling you.
We love people hugging us. So this helps the body to feel safe.
We are all leaders in our own right.
Who says you can't even find someone who will love you better?
Makes you focus, drives you. It shows you an agenda.
That's right.
Awesome.
Mama Helen and You with Dr. Helen Jaffor, showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting Network, ABN.
And now, your host, Mama Helen Jaffor.
Well, this is Mama Helen and you all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am extremely excited. An American poet by name Edward Hexlin Cummings once said, it takes courage to grow up and become who you really are. A lot of times when we feel that there's something deeper you could be a part of, you feel the pull towards something, but you cannot pin exactly what it is. You're not really sure who you are or what you intend to become. Your genius is this masterpiece, simply lurking beneath the surface, waiting to be released. Finding the genius in you is more than just a cliche or a dream. It is actually a tool for better, happier, and healthier life. Today, on Mama Helen and You, we will be dwelling on the topic, discovering the genius in you. You know what? You may be born naked, but you are not born empty. Today, you will find out on Mama Helen and You. Don't go away. This is the time actually for you to, press the share button. Reach out to as many people in their thousands. Yes, I'm engaging you to do that. Call your friends, have a view party. Do whatever you have to do, because today is going to provoke something in you that is going to take you to your next level in life and destiny. I can't wait for you to happen. So, on Mama Helen and You, back in a moment.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now, welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and You, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am excited. I don't know about you, wherever you're watching. Yes, today is going to be thought-provoking because, hey, you can still be whom God has ordained for you to be on. And I can't wait for you to become. That is the whole essence of being here, serving and fulfilling purpose. So, being a genius involves originality, creativity, and the ability to think and work in areas not previously explored, thus giving the world something of value that will otherwise not have ever been existed. It simply means great intellectual ability and signifies potential rather than attainment. Yes, you have to have known what you ought to become before you start reaching out towards the goal. But the most important thing is what it is that is in you that is more than able to create a new world, a new space, and then, of course, launch you out in a different way in life. That is what we're looking at today. Discovering the genius in you is one of the hardest things. It takes more than just memorizing facts and figures. You need insight, introspection, and what have you to elevate your intellect. To discuss this topic today is to obviously look at two wonderful men that I cannot even wait to interview. I know without a shadow of doubt that you're really going to be blessed by it. One is sitting right on set with me. He was once a footballer, Okay, now a pastor and a businessman, as well. Please help me receive Pastor O.J. Oruma.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm honored and glad to be here.
The honor is really mine. I mean, I am really excited. And you're still very fit, by the way. And of course, joining us on visual as well is Pastor Rumi Daniels. He's a businessman and a pastor, and of course, a consultant as well. It's such a pleasure having you with us.
Mama, good afternoon. It's good to be back. I've been with you a few times in that studio. Today, it feels different, but thank you for having me, Ma.
Awesome, awesome. So let's get to the matter of the day. We're actually looking at, the genius in you. So let's look at the word genius. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, the word genius means exceptionality in a person.
Exceptionality. I love
Yes,
that one.
yes.
Yes.
So for you to be a genius, you must do something extra to
Extra.
get to the other level. And again, there's difference between being a genius and being an intellectual person.
That's true.
You can be an intellectual person, but you not a
And not the
genius yet,
genius.
because genius has to do with something that you've achieved. So it's an action word. It's
It's an
something that
action.
you've achieved,
Been able to accomplish
in
also
life.
in life.
So there are so many smart people and intelligent people, but they didn't accomplish anything. So for you to be a genius, yes,
I love that.
True, ma'am. True,
That
ma'am.
is good. Yes.
So for you to be a genius, you must put your intellectuality to
work.
action, to work.
To work.
And you must be creative. You must make sure you're working out of the box. I just want to say something real quick.
Yes.
Because I'm from this part of Warri. I'm from this part of the country, Warri. You know, in Warri, when you are thinking, some people will tell you, you think too much. But thinking is good.
It's good. It's very important.
So what counts is what you are thinking about. So you should not focus your thoughts on the negative.
On the
Focus
negative.
it on the positive.
Something positive. Yes.
Because everybody who created something, first and foremost, thought about what they created.
Awesome.
So if first and foremost created their
Nothing
mind,
just happened.
yes,
That's, something must have informed it.
correct, ma'am.
Awesome,
Correct,
awesome, awesome. I also know that Pastor Rume would have something to say concerning that as well. What is, genius? The word genius. What does it mean?
In fact, I agree completely with Pastor Roma on that definition. Exceptionality, originality, like you also mentioned earlier, is key to being a genius. And also the fact that a genius is measured by their output and not just by their thoughts. So yes, the quality of thoughts that a genius has counts, because we're only as good as our thoughts. But also important is the fact that that thought must count for something in terms of what it solves. But I also like to mention that, um, long ago, I used to think that genius were just people with very, very, high IQ, people who did good in school and all that. And so Roma is just reminding us that that's not what genius really entails. And I concur. But I have seen that in our world, there are people who are not, heavy on IQ, but have been able to solve problems based on their output. So when you tested the IQ of some of the people we call geniuses today, it's not very top notch. But when we see the works of their hands, we are convinced that they are geniuses, because they pretty much produce things that are out of the box that people would have not thought about, and it had nothing to do with their school background or the quality of their IQ.
So your
And
level
I
of
just want,
creativity.
yes, yes. So I want to just add the fact that Thomas Edison was sent out of school. I know we all remember that. He was sent away from school because he had a low IQ.
IQ.
Yeah, yes, his mother was told he will never do well in school. She went to homeschool him. And we can see the outcome of a low IQ today. And Thomas Edison today defines a genius as someone with 1% inspiration. and 99% perspiration. In other words, he was saying, I might, he was saying, I might not have been good with my brains, but I have worked extremely hard to produce results, to solve problems for my world. And so I believe that a genius is someone who doesn't necessarily have intellectual prowess, but is disciplined enough to exert himself, to pursue a certain dream, a certain thought to completion. So discipline and hard work makes for, a genius ultimately. And so that's my thought about who a genius is.
Fantastic. So what would we consider as the qualities of a genius? What are the qualities of a genius?
Yeah, there are so many qualities
Okay.
that you should have.
Okay.
Number one, you must have a drive.
You must have a drive.
Drive, a passion for what you do.
Exactly.
One of the problems with people is that you don't love what you do. Whatever you don't love, you cannot assert that much energy into.
So true.
So you must have that drive. You must have persistence. You must have the tendency. You must be adaptable. You must learn to think. You must study. You must improve yourself. You must work on yourself to get to that level.
Do you also think that being focus oriented could
Yes.
also be part of this as well? Because
Very,
if we're
very-
looking at someone who is not as, high up there in terms of brains, but
Yes.
the person have the quality of being extremely consistent with what he or she does, and of course is extremely focused as well. Because for you to be consistent, you have to have the you have to be focused. Yes.
True, I agree with you 100%, man, because focus is key. And focus, for me, you have to be, let me give you a perfect example.
Okay.
Like, for example, you see some people, they went to school, maybe to study engineering. And after they finish, there's somebody here, maybe like an electrical engineer, went to school, studied engineering, came back. But it will shock you that sometimes you see these people on the street who do normal manual jobs. They are more vast when it comes to the field work than the people who study this particular skill. So, for example, one time I was commissioning a substation.
Yes.
I'm proud to say that I built one of the first automated substation for Shell in Wari.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
So when we were trying to do the commissioning, because I'm not an engineer, but because I was following everything that was going on, I went to the factory acceptance test. I learned all about the switchboard, because that will only happen with the help of the switchboard.
That's
The
right.
switchboard will turn on the generator by himself. But the substation is not manned by anybody. So it turn on the generator by itself. Once power comes back from the mains, he will tell the generator the power is back, whereby he will isolate the generator, then later shut it down, then bring it back to power. Without nobody doing that work.
With no interruption.
So on this day, there's a guy who was with us. He was doing NYSC. So when I was explaining, so he was asking me, he was calling me an engineer.
For you to have been able to come up with
Of
such
course.
an engineering thought.
For you to be a genius, you must pay attention to your craft. You must pay steady attention to your craft. And sometimes you will see things that will frustrate you. You must have that tenacity and the push to get to your desire. Yes, to get to your desired goal.
Awesome. Well, I also want to believe that our pastor out there would have something to say concerning that as well. What are the qualities? He said a lot already. What would you want to add to what he has said?
Interestingly, I believe that the characteristics that has been mentioned are foundational. One who is, willing to continue to learn. Pastor Ruma just said that consistent learning, what we call constant and never-ending improvement. So yes, that is key. And geniuses are such that they continue to develop capacity and competences every single day. So every day and in every way, they keep getting better and better. That, for me, I think is one of the most important qualities. And of course, the focus you mentioned earlier, learning to stay with something, and even when people don't believe in it, is key. I would like to go back again, because every time I talk about genius, the definition Thomas Edison gave with 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration comes in handy for me very easily. And it just pretty much shows that anybody can be a genius. So someone watching this out there saying, oh, I don't have the IQ, I don't have the definition, of a true genius. I realized that over time, a lot of people have showed us that just anybody can be a genius. If you would learn, if you'll be disciplined enough to stay with what you're doing. And there's a current word that we use in the marketplace right now in business sectors. It's called grit. Grit simply just means persistence. You could add focus to that. You could add hard work to that. You could add diligence, consistency. Grit is an embodiment of all that good quality that ensures that a person never gives up. So it speaks of staying power when others are giving up, and the genius stays on track, even though the discouragement is there. Again, Thomas Edison, who gave us the incandescent light bulb, he said over and over that he stayed with his light bulb experiments for 1,000 times. Mama, that is truly exceptional. I am thinking, how many people in my generation will stay with an experiment for 1,000 times? By now, if we're doing something and starting a business, by the 50th time, after failing 50 times, some people would have called an online
someone is going to be asking
vigil
you a question. Are you sure?
and say, yes. And some people would have felt that, village people are after them. But this man stayed with it. And so that's a typical example. If he didn't stay for 1,000 times, maybe the invention of the light bulb would have taken a longer time and it would have been different. So somebody who was told that he would never do well in school became the greatest inventor of all time with 1,093 inventions during his lifetime. And he says that this was not because, yes, ma'am. He says all this was not because he was very intelligent, but it's just because he put himself to work. And so hard work, grit is one of those characters, ma'am.
Awesome. So, are there examples therefore? I know you've already mentioned one. He has already mentioned one. Yeah. Thomas Edison, for example. Yeah. Obviously, he's very taken by him, But I also know there are other geniuses out there, or formerly, that did excellently well. So can we try to refer to them?
Let's look at the Honda story. When he was in school, he looked for a way to fend for himself. So he did a small engine in a bicycle.
Okay.
So that's where we got the motorcycle today. The motorcycle, the bikes, that's where we got it from today. Because when he did that, he was able to push it to the market and got orders. He was still in school. Then, after that phase, he created an engine that he was trying to sell to Toyota, a piston that he was trying to sell to Toyota.
Okay.
And Toyota rejected it 7 times. And he went back and keep trying. Even in school, according to the story, the friends were laughing at him, but he didn't give up. He didn't stop there. Yes. He kept pushing until he got it right. And when they finally bought the piston from him, he was back in business. So he built a factory. But unfortunately for him, there was a bomb that was dropped in the factory.
Yes.
And the factory was destroyed. But he didn't give up there. He kept trying, kept coming back. Because if you don't fight, life will not fight for you.
Well, that's the truth. You have to fight for what you believe.
That's what makes the difference for genius. You have to fight for what you believe. Yes. So he fought, and today, look at Honda today. Awesome. So that's another example of a genius. So it takes tenacity. It takes, because you're a genius doesn't mean you're not going to go through trouble. There will be a lot of trouble. There will be a lot of disappointment. Yeah. Just like the story from Pastor Rume on the invention of the light bulb.
Yes.
So Thomas Edison. So that's the story. We all need to also live this story. There are also people in Nigeria who have these stories
as well. It's true.
Like for example, let me talk a bit about Philip Emeagwụ, the one of the highest Nigerian with the highest IQ.
IQ.
So I was surprised to learn that he served in the Biafra War.
Wow,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
He did that. He served in the Biafra War, and that did deter him. He kept learning, kept improving, and today, he was able to win the Golden Bell Prize award. So I mean, life.
You just have to keep fighting.
You just have to keep fighting because life will
it's
not
going to
present
offer you,
yes,
on a platter of gold.
So when life offers you these circumstances, what you do about it, that's what makes you
matters.
A genius.
Oh my God, I think I just love that. But I wouldn't know if Pastor Rumen would have something, to add to that. In terms of examples, I know you have been dancing around Thomas Edison. Are there other, names or people that you think actually really, make themselves, strong in their field, whilst here or before?
Yes, ma. Amazingly, ma, in every sphere of life, in every endeavor, in every space you look, there is a genius out there. And we've agreed that a genius is someone who is not just high in intellectual capacity, but has a dream, no matter how small, and pays the price to produce the result. Who thinks outside the box and pays the price?
The price.
Sustainably.
I love that.
Yes.
Because obviously,
Yes.
You're going to be resisted. Many things that have different environmental factors, or a lot of factors that might try to, stop that.
Yes, ma'am. So I was just thinking about it now, and we look at sports, you'll see so many, from football to basketball to everything. You look at entertainment, you see geniuses around. You look at politics. The picture that comes to mind naturally, apart from the founding fathers of our time in that country, one natural speaks to me. And we remember him from South Africa, Nelson Mandela, someone who had been in prison all along and comes out and forgives, and then, leads his country into, great levels that they didn't envisage. So that, for me, geniuses are everywhere. When I look at our city, Warri, for instance, I look at, I know that a lot of us don't appreciate what we have back home, but if we look at our space, every single person who has overcome one level of adversity or the other, to me, that's a genius. Our own journeys, I'm a pastor, all of us, we're emerging, and ultimately our goal will be that we will die empty, like Dr. Miles will always say. We'll give the world all our best, and that we would have offered solutions to the world's problems as much as possible. And so I just want to repeat again that everybody is a genius as long as you're willing to pay the price.
You have something to offer. Awesome.
Yes.
And my mind would actually also go to Aban Esther.
Yes.
For example, how about, as you all know, was also a dropout as well. He was a dropout. I think he dropped out in secondary. He didn't finish. There's a long story regarding that. And then he later got admission into a polytechnic, that later metamorphosed into university. But the bottom line is that he could have stayed on to just being, not furthering with his education, minding the fact that, the factors then, the environmental factors then, as at then, was very, very challenging. But he didn't allow that to stop him because the parents were Jews. Okay, and I think probably they were, by nationality German. Although at one time he had to renounce that, I know that because he wanted to be the world, something, he didn't want to be labeled as someone coming from a particular country or something, which was actually very phenomenal as well, about him. But it became a physicist, incredible mind to start with, Now, when you're considering someone as being a genius, there are things that could help, them to fulfill that. And I've just referred to, Heinstein, for example,
yeah.
because Heinstein stumbled on different books. In fact, the father was into electronic, business or something. And he got into reading, studying these. A friend came, dropped a book, a particular book that has to do, that is more into, I've forgotten the name now. But generally, within around the same thing that he later became. So do you think there are efforts to you putting into becoming a genius, or is it innate?
There are efforts. No two ways about it.
Okay.
There are efforts you need to put for you to become a genius. Just like you rightly said about Einstein. If not for his effort, his intellectuality alone cannot take him
Couldn't
there.
have.
So it's the effort that Thomas Edison put, it's the effort that our Papa Ayo put that made Warri to be a renowned city in the body of Christ. So
that's right.
It has to do with effort.
Yes.
Without effort, there cannot be results.
So true.
I can be smart, but I'm smart to me. So if I want to show you that I'm smart, I have to prove, I have to do something that you will see. For you to judge me to be smart.
Smart. So true.
So that's the fact, Mama.
Awesome. Okay. What are the challenges that a genius will, definitely feel? Because there's somebody watching out there, maybe he's just a secondary school older, and he feels, my parents have no money and all that. I mean, I don't even see myself becoming anything, even though I have all my dreams out there with the intent to achieve and so on and so forth. But what would you say to that kind of person?
Okay, Mama, I strongly believe that for you to be a genius, you must have a situation or a crisis that you're facing. It's how you come out of that makes you exceptional.
That's right.
If you're normal, that's just success.
Yes.
So I tell everyone that your story, this crisis you face, this struggle you are in, that's what will make you exceptional.
Exceptional, yeah.
That's what will make you a genius. So you can't give up. I believe everyone hearing me out there must know these things. That sometimes rejection will come, but we must know that sometimes rejection is redirection.
I love that. Rejection is redirection. Isn't that awesome?
Like that's like part of my story, because Mama, all I know how to do in my life was to play football. So I was a footballer. I played for Ben Insurance. I played for Concord. I played for the Nigeria under 17. We went to the World Cup, but we didn't win, so we're not known. We came out from the second round. So then I took it further. I went to France. I was playing in France. Then I got injured. So when I got injured, I was struggling with this injury in a young age. So I began to tell myself, if I stay here trying to treat myself, I'm not getting ill. Is this how my life is going to end? So in the midst of that...
I know you have a lot to say about that. In the midst of that, and I think I am very, very enthusiastic about hearing the completion of that story, how he later became who he is today. But we have to, take a little pause, okay? And wherever you are, please get ready, because I'm telling you, it can only get better. This is the Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria. You don't want to miss that story. Once a footballer, an international one for that matter, now a businessman. How did he become that? Okay, back in a moment. Mama Helen and you.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. I am excited. I hope you've been blessed, and of course you're getting something out of what resource people have been able to offer us today regarding the topic on discovering the genius in you. Now, in-house guest was actually telling us his own experience as a footballer. Okay, how it was and how it became what it is today, because it's always good to put a face to anything, so that the understanding would actually be there for us to know, okay, that you do not necessarily have to be someone like in Heinstein, to be anything, but in you reside the seed called genius.
That's
So,
right.
what do you have to say?
Yes, ma'am. Like I was saying with my story, when I find out that I'm injured and it's taking too long.
You were injured.
Yes, I was injured and it was taking too long to treat. And I know football has to do with age. So I decided to go back to school.
Okay.
So when I finished school in France, then I came back to Nigeria.
Okay.
And I always have this philosophy from small that I don't want to work for anybody. So I started my own business gradually, and I was able to build it up. And by the grace of God, God helping me, I was able to achieve something in life. I'm not saying I'm a genius, but I believe I will be one.
Okay,
by
but,
the end of
no,
my
but
life.
maybe you are a genius. We are geniuses in our own rights, aren't we?
Yes, ma'am.
That's awesome. Because even that young man out there, yes. Because I think that's the whole idea of what we're trying to push out here.
Yeah.
Not to think that you have to be like, because, well, it is stated that you have to be within 140 and above to be
Yes.
referred to
Correct,
as a genius.
Correct.
Okay. Now there are those who are, whose intelligence quotient is not as high,
Yeah.
which is IQ that we call.
Yeah.
It's not as high as that,
Yes.
but they have been able to do extremely well.
Exactly.
Extremely well. So the question here is, what are the effects of discovering your inner genius on your well-being? How do you discover that?
To discover
Discovering your inner genius.
like you said in the beginning, everybody came into this world naked. I believe that 100%.
We all did. We all
Everybody
did.
came into this world
We all did.
naked, but we came with a gift.
That's right.
So you must discover your gift. Everyone has a gift. You must discover your gift and work your gift. So
Discover your gift. Walk your gift.
That's the watchword now.
Woo.
Work your gift.
Walk your gift.
Because
Because I love what you said a while ago.
Yes.
When we started, you said it's not enough for you to be intelligent.
Yes.
It is your output that determines how intelligent
Correct,
you are.
ma'am. Correct,
Because
ma'am.
people want to be able to see what you're able to do with your level of intelligence.
Yes.
If you have nothing to show for it, then you're nowhere.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So the difference is,
Yes.
is being smart. Like when you're working, you must work smart. It's not necessarily hard work, but smart work.
You're speaking my language. You have to work smart. That's
ma'am.
right. Yes.
ma'am. If not, you will burn so much energy, but you will
Okay.
not achieve
So
anything.
that's number one.
Yes.
You have to discover that you have something to offer.
Correct.
Okay. Then
Correct.
what would be the number two?
You must drive it. You must sell it.
You must sell it.
In the marketplace, one of the most important things in the marketplace today is the ability to sell your product.
To sell your products.
The ability to sell your product. Because if I'm coming up with something, everybody might not agree because they don't know how it will play out.
Play out, yes.
So they won't agree. So you must push
No
it,
one likes to
sell it.
identify with failure.
Yes. So,
So-
number two, you must sell what you have.
You must
That's
be
number two.
willing to sell what you have.
Correct.
Number three.
Number three, you must have you must build confidence
You must have confidence
so that you be able to defend what you have.
Awesome.
You must have confidence. You must have belief. You must trust your product.
You must trust your product.
So-
I
so
love that.
One of the difficulties young people also have is self-doubt. Can I do it?
Can I do it? Is it possible?
You can, because whatever is not started can never be finished.
I love that. That's a powerful phrase.
Yes.
Whatever is not started can
Cannot be
never
finished.
be finished.
That's
You
true,
know,
ma'am.
so you have to start something, no matter how small. I think the greatest challenge we have is the small beginnings. People believe you have somebody say, "Oh, I want to start this business, but I need someone to give me $1 million." And I'm like, "You have not even handled 10,000
Why do you need
very
$1
well.
million?
Now you think you need $1 million. What you need is an idea. Come up with an idea foremost, and then work it. No matter how small it is, gradually it will grow. Gradually it will grow.
Correct,
But
ma'am.
your inability to work it is the greatest challenge you've got. Not
That's
because
right.
you haven't money.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Even though as time goes on, the tendency for you to have the financial base matters, but at least from the onset,
Mm-hmm.
go out there and work it. You know, I've seen some businessmen, and for example, when I started business many years ago, okay, you know, there have been times I've had to, you know, I mean, I will be beaten seriously by rain. Just to have, because I hadn't a car then. You know, this is over 30 years ago now.
Yeah.
You know, you know, extremely. I'll be beaten by, in fact, what am I talking about? 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago.
Wow.
You know, at that time, really beaten. In fact, I would never forget, there was a particular meeting I went, you know, to. And it was raining heavily. But I promised that I was going to be there at a particular time, and I didn't want to miss that meeting. So when I came in and, you know, and I arrived at the meeting, they were all looking at me. It was like, we thought as psychedelic as you are, you know, you wouldn't want to show up, you know, and all that, because you want to get wet and all that. But I just couldn't be bothered with that because I knew what I was going. And then later on, of course, the rest is history.
That's what makes the difference.
Yes,
now.
you have to be willing to pay the price
That's what makes the
for
difference.
what you believe in. It does, it does. Okay, well, another thing that I want us to also look at that is extremely important. Another thing that I also want us to, whilst we're trying to, you know, to bring it out, you know, the genius is in us, bringing it out to fore, okay? Because we already know, you know, that you might have come from a particular family where they say, no one has ever done this before. Okay,
Yeah.
so how do you overcome that, for example?
Yeah. The watchword for that is small is the new big. Just like
I
your
love that
story,
one.
it didn't start today. It starts somewhere.
Yes.
Whereby the rain will not deter you.
Yes.
So, yes, nobody in my family has built a house before. That should not deter you. That should be the driving force, because you encourage yourself and tell yourself that because nobody has done it, I will do it.
I will do it, yes.
So that can drive you and push you to getting it done. That's what makes the difference. So we need to understand that there will never be success without a challenge, ma'am.
That's right.
So it's the challenge that creates the success story for us all.
As a matter of fact, without any problem, there is no solution.
Correct.
Okay, it is problem that finally produce solution to anything in life. Well, I know that a pastor that is nodding, and he probably would like to make one or two comments to some of the things that we have already mentioned regarding how to bring out the genius in you.
Yes, ma'am. I have been enjoying the conversations. Thank you. Pastor Oje, I enjoy listening to you, sir.
Awesome.
I just want to speak to someone watching who is saying, am I really a genius? Is there anything special about me? How do I find it? The questions you've asked, I just want to quickly say a few things. Number one is the fact that God has hidden treasure in every one of us. So we said that earlier. And so the answer is yes, you are a genius. It might not necessarily be in the academic sense that has been already established, but there's definitely a why you were here. I'm sent here at a time as this. All of us remember that God speaking to the young Jeremiah says, before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I had plans for you. So to that end, one of the easiest things to do when you're trying to find your genius, you're trying to find your place in the world, is to look at the one who sent us here. And so there are 4 places I always like to say you should look at when you are searching for your genius. Number 1 is to look up. Look at the one who sent us here. It says, call upon me and I will answer. It's still one of the easiest ways to find it. There are many times I'm looking for my car keys or looking for something very precious. My wife and I do this very often at home. Our kids have begun to do this as well. The moment we say, Holy Spirit, please help me, we find it immediately. And then I wonder, why did we wait to waste so much time before asking the Holy Spirit to help? And so now we've gotten used to it. If the car is missing and the car keys are missing, we immediately say, look, Holy Spirit, please help. And it works every time. So I just want you to remember this, that the first place to start is to look up. Then the second place to look is to look within. Look within. You're trying to find yourself. Look within. Take an inventory of what you are good at, what you like, what you dislike. Everything like that is a pointer to what we are born to do. Please don't discountenance it, no matter how little it looks. For instance, for me, I was told while I was growing up by my sister's friends that you talk like a sissy. And I cried because that meant I talked like a girl. Meanwhile, I was raised in the midst of girls, so it was not shocking why I spoke like a girl. But today I look back at that time and I realized that talking was something God put inside me, wired me with. I'm
It
in
was
Lagos right
natural.
now. Yes, ma'am. I'm in Lagos right now simply to speak to organizations. So someone asked me, what do you do for a living now? I said, I talk for a living. He said, are you a comedian? I said, no. When I go to organizations to speak, I get paid. I get paid heavily at that. And so I found that that which I took common and took lightly and what people abused me about has now become, what pays the bills and is what people celebrate me for. And so if you discountenance what God has put within you, you are literally throwing away your opportunity to find your genius and to drive your genius, like Pastor Ruma said earlier. Thirdly,
Beautiful.
um, thirdly, I like you to look around. So first of all, I said look up, then look within. Thirdly, look around. Look around simply means that there are problems around, just like, Mama, you just said, that there are no problems, there are no geniuses in that sense, because people who solve problems are the ones we celebrate as geniuses. And so when we look around, the problems God has wired us to solve literally begins to call for our attention, except we are not being mindful. Every problem that is around that is meant for us to solve will call for action. Everyone, literally, who has succeeded in life located a problem to solve, and that problem was around. It was not really inside.
Problem.
What was inside? What was inside was the wiring, was the equipping, was the treasure, was what God put there to solve what was outside. So we are living magnets. We'll be literally attracted to what is outside. So please pay attention to that. And
Exactly.
fourthly, look behind. And this is a very quick one because some people forget. When we grow up, like all of us are right now, it's easy to forget that there are many things we used to love to do or things we did naturally before we got married, before we got out of school, before we graduated and went to serve, before we decided to take just any job, before life happened to us. And so many people have forgotten their genius, the geniuses they used to be, things they used to do naturally and with ease and were celebrated, when they were in school, maybe in primary school, in secondary school, and now we've forgotten all that. So one of the things an adult can do now is to look back and look at what has been left undone, unattended to. That is a pointer also. And finally, if you've looked up, you've looked within, you've looked around, and you look behind, and you still can't find purpose, you still can't find your place in life, simply look for any problem and put your heart to it, even if you are not sure you are wired for it. And diligence should be added to that. And ultimately, while you are busy doing that, while you are faithful with that little, then others will be unrevealed. This is the mystery behind looking for someone to serve. A generation where many young people want to make it big and quickly without serving. All right, this is the key to it. So look for someone, anybody, whether they look like where you're going or you're not even sure where they're going, but they look like successful people. Look for them, serve them, volunteer to serve. And I talk about this to young people. Work for free if you have to, but ensure that you're picking the skills that is needed, to advance in life. While you're busy serving someone, God will unveil your own to you. And that's how I believe that you can
Awesome.
find your genius.
Awesome. This is beautiful.
Yes.
I mean, I can just release both of you to keep going because, I mean, you have so much to offer how people out there. I'm sure you must have been really blessed. But hey, we have just started because you have a lot to gain today. But just before we go ahead with more things that I believe our guests will be offering us during the course of the program, we have a young, talented man. Okay, his name is Fox, that I'm sure is going to be taking us to another level of poet.
Thank you very much, Ma, for this opportunity. The title of my poetry piece is Home. Listen and be blessed. I'm stuck in the dark, lost in the valley of thorns. I can't find home, although I'm sure it's this way, but my route never ends. The stress is real. I feel the scars from my hustle. Please, somebody save me. That's all I could scream. But still there's no way home. I hope I find my way soon. Cause I'm lost in thoughts, hoping I could see you again. So I'll feel safe once again. But this endless journey tears us apart, testing our fate. I hope I pull through. There's parts of me that feels displaced. My very soul is in disarray. I hope one day I'll find my way so I can tell the tales. So I can tell the tales of my journey home.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now, welcome back. This is still Mama Helen and you all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. So this is bringing out your genius is in you and seeing you blossoming to the glory of God. Okay, fine. Young man, folks, you did marvelously well. We're really we're captured by your presentation. So keep flying. That was awesome. Now, you know that we have two wonderful gentlemen here who have actually been, inundating us on what we need to do in order to develop or to at least utilize what we have on the inside so that our word can actually be real to us in the real sense of it. So the next question that I will have for them is, how do you know if you have discovered or unlocked the genius in you?
Pastor Robert, please, do you want to go first?
Yeah, okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. There's nothing like discovery. Discovery is a bundle of joy. Finding your place is something. It's the glory of the king to conceal a matter, and it is the glory of his kings, that's us now, to unravel this treasure. So how you know when you found your place is in tandem with how we see a fish, for instance. If fish is out of water, it struggles, but once it is in water, it just glides and enjoys its environment, its habitat. So the proof of discovery is that you begin to enjoy yourself. And I don't speak enjoy yourself in terms of just financial gains. That will ultimately come. But the true enjoyment is in a word I'll call fulfillment. Fulfilling work, becomes, yes, inner peace. Having to enjoy what you're doing, just having fun. Mama, I was once at a training recently, just a few days ago, and we had sat for 7 hours. We had a lunch break, and then the MD said, "Sir, you've been training for 2 days. This is the 14th hour you've been standing for 2 days, 7 hours on both days, and you're telling us we have one more day to go, and there's still more?" I said, "Yes." And then he asked me, where is all this coming from? Honestly, I didn't know how to answer, but I realized, that for me, once it's that time, everything in me just, I can't explain it. And then let me speak about my wife. She loves children. Sometimes I've seen her with a headache, a very strong headache, and she's tired, weary, and all of a sudden you just bring her before children. She goes into a crèche, she goes before kids, and everything in her comes alive. she just forgets. And, 15 minutes later, she'll tell you she doesn't even know where that pain went to. So the stress goes away because she found her place. Her place is with children. Yes, her passion. So for some, just put them before a computer, and they keep working. Some of them even forget to eat, which is a bad habit though. But that's to tell you how much. And Mama, I see you. Yes, ma. I see you right now, ma. And I see the joy with which you do what you're doing right now, right there on the set. There's so much life bubbling out of you. Man, if you're watching this and you've never listened to Papa Ayo or Richard Jaffa on a given day, please tune in and watch. One of the things you see is that when Papa gets into the groove, everything else stops. And so what I'm saying is that, yes, I'm just saying that when people find their genius, when they find their purpose, we begin to enjoy what we're doing. And money ultimately comes. It's not the money that comes first. It ultimately comes. Yes, ma'am.
So true. Awesome. Okay, Pastor, do you want to say something about that?
Yeah, Pastor Rume is always on point.
He hit it
Something
very
else.
raw.
Something else. To discover the genius in you is to get to that point of satisfaction, because it starts from you. Get to that point of satisfaction and acceptance. So, when you get to that point, you begin to feel at ease with yourself.
You feel very much at home.
Comfortable.
This is home to you.
You can be doing it. Mm-hmm. There's no result yet, but you are just you are optimistic.
Yes. You haven't even gotten money from it.
Yes.
But you're happy still.
Something that's happening. So, like you said, money might not be the ultimate goal, but the truth is, once you get to that point, you know you've discovered yourself. And your place, your position in life, and the money will not eventually flow in. Yes, because I believe everything we do for a purpose.
Yes.
So it depends on what you are doing at a particular time. If like me, I want to be somebody who will touch humanity.
That's right.
So for me to discover myself is to be in a place whereby I see satisfaction, smiles in the face of people. So it depends on what you are doing.
Oh my God.
For you to discover yourself.
You have just described me. Mama, I get my joy in seeing others happy.
Mama, we see you, but I must confess, from afar, don't judge a book by its cover. From afar, I didn't know you have this kind of sense of humor. I didn't know you can be this some people, when you see them from afar, you're just frightened, just like, can I get this kind of access? But my God, the level of accessibility is mind-blowing. Thank you very much, Mom. Thank you very much, Mom. I just needed to say that.
Oh dear.
So it's to discover yourself, to find pleasure and joy in what you are doing.
To discover yourself and find joy.
Once you get to that point, then you are unstoppable.
Okay, so what are the psychological effects of failing to discover the genius in you?
1, failure to act. Number 2, by giving up. That's why the says, quitters don't win and winners don't quit. You must not quit on your dream. You must keep pushing. I talked about rejection in the past. Because we also need to stop wishing and start willing.
I love that. That is awesome.
We need to stop wishing and start willing, because a lot of people have dreams that will change the world, but they will not do anything about it.
That's true.
So that's a problem. So don't have this vision and dream and don't do anything about it, because you've killed that dream. That's why Miles Monroe was saying that the richest place in the world is the cemetery, because people die with dreams that are not being actualized. So those are some of the things that affect your performance. So you must know that, yes, at some point you will not be accepted. You must know that at some point you will struggle. You must know that at some point, just like Pastor Rume, I know he's a wonderful speaker, but he didn't get to where he is overnight.
Just all of a sudden,
he keeps working on himself and improving
himself.
Nice, acceptable. He goes everywhere. He's speaking everywhere. All over the place. Soon he will go worldwide.
Worldwide, yes.
So that's our dream. So it does not
And he's saying amen. He's saying a big amen to that.
it does not start here and end here.
It doesn't start and here.
So it requires a push.
Okay.
It requires a push.
All right. He said so much. What do you have to say concerning that?
One of the things that happens when you don't find your voice and you don't find your genius is that you just live an ordinary life. When I say ordinary, a life that has no impact, has no meaning, has no direction. Because when you find it, life becomes meaningful, like we've said. And when you don't find it, then of course the opposite is the case. And that's the kind of person that begins to feel worthless. People like that feel worthless, feel that they have nothing to offer, and just feel like others are the ones who were destined to do great things, but not them.
Great. They're not.
Yes, and so it becomes mandatory, apparently, from this discussion that every man, it's in fact it's God's intention for us to discover. Discovery is a caucus for us that He set in place. And so when we don't discover that psychological effect is damaging, it's limiting, it's more than, in fact, it goes from a mental state to a physical inability to move, like Pastor OJ says. It just grounds a person. And so it can't take initiative. We feel that we don't have anything. But in the real sense, Mama, you mentioned earlier that many people haven't handled 10,000 and yet access $1 million naira or more to do business. I've been there before. In my own case, I was actually busy. I was doing something, and I was about to expand my business. And then I went to the old Oceanic Bank headquarters officers, Ozumba, by the way, and to meet with someone who asked me, now you want to raise $1 million naira, and he asked me, what's your current turnover? I told him. He said, so in essence, you have never handled above 200,000. I said, no, sir. But that's why I want to raise the money. And I was in school, I was a student. He said, I don't want to give you this money. I said, because it will distract you. That's one. And two, you haven't shown yet that you're ready to manage this. And this was me still doing something. And years later, I went on my 2 knees thanking this man for what he did. A lot of young people today are saying people are not helping. There are a lot of successful people out there who refuse to help us and all that. And the truth is that one of the damaging effects of not discovering yourself on time is that you just feel that everybody owes you something. But someone who has discovered, irrespective of what they have in terms of how to fund their dreams or not, they will still take steps because the discovery will drive you. What you found will push you. It will get you excited every morning to get up. And it is that excitement, somebody who is on the receiving end of your wanting to receive funding will see. They see the passion before they see what we're even wanting to raise. Like I've learned so far that people do not invest in great ideas, they invest in people. And so for me, I realized that I must be on my work, going ahead to do my work. I say help is on the way. Help will not wait for me. That song is very, very confusing. They say, hold on, help is on the way. And so somebody says the hold on part means that I should sit down where I am. But in reality, the song actually has the message, help is on the way. So get on the way, keep moving, keep taking steps, because the help will meet you while you're on the way. And so and so someone is wondering, why should I not get the help first? So one of the most damaging consequences of not discovering yourself is that you would be, you'll be in a state of inability to move, in a state of, inertia. There's no motion, there's no drive, there's no hunger, there's no desire to do anything. Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay, awesome. I would like to ask both of you. Okay, in the country of ours, I don't even know what to consider as our economy in terms of whether it is micro or macro economy. But one thing stands out: the gap between the poor and the rich is quite huge and wide. And this has also, put our youths in a very difficult state, because here they are, they're out of school, they have no jobs, nothing to give them hope or anything in life. You have a lot of graduates out there, and to them, and with the kind of educational, setting that we have in our country, that is not even applicable. It's all theoretical. So you have people coming out of school, they don't even know what else to do, because all they're looking for is a white-collar job. What would you have to say to them, in terms of actually discovering, looking inward, and bringing out the best in them that can later show them out there? Would you want to pass it to him, or you want to pick the ball?
Okay, I can go ahead.
All right.
Ma'am, in this country, I've been doing search. I've searched everywhere.
Yes.
To find out what is this here in Nigeria. I can't find. Because everything requires planning. If you don't have the statistics, how do you plan for them? So we don't have that statistics out there. And it's a problem. There are so many students graduating this year that we don't have plans for. So how do we take care of them? So it's a real problem. And I know the schools teaches you to get a job, not to be self-employed. So I think we need to also impute this in the mindset of the student that, look, you must learn to fend for yourself. When I was coming here, I was talking to my friend. I told him, I said, you cannot compare somebody that is born here and somebody that is born in America. They don't have the same advantage in life. So because of that, we must go the extra. That's why we must all be genius. We must go the extra mile to take care of ourselves. If the government is not planning for you, then you have to plan for yourself. So we must teach the people that are coming up.
So you're talking about
entrepreneurship.
Okay.
Because I always tell myself that you give what you have. I always tell myself that I didn't want to work for anybody, and it worked out for me. A lot of people, like for example, I know a girl who was offered a job. She's a graduate, so she's looking at her certificate, and they offered her 25,000 naira salary, and she rejected it. She said, graduate, I cannot be earning 25,000. But I tried to tell her,
not even earning 15,000.
Yes, I tried to tell her, look, what you need now is experience, not the money.
Yeah.
Because all the jobs out there requires experience. And if you don't have the experience, they will not give you the job. So how would you get the experience when you don't accept any job around you to get the bigger opportunities?
But at least you can add into your CV.
Mama, even a cook require experience today.
Yes, because when you ask, where have you worked before? That would be the first question.
Drivers require experience. So
why shouldn't we?
Yes.
You say, okay, like you make reference to what is obtainable over there abroad. I mean, when someone is out of school, before you're out of school, you're already looking for internship.
That's right.
Internship where you're going to offer your services totally free, just to gain the necessary experience that will later allow you to go further, in your career path.
Correct.
So, I mean, okay, well, Pastor Rume, I don't know, I would really want you to speak to this as well, okay, because we have quite a number of our young ones out there, and hey, with the kind of economy that we have in Nigeria and the educational sector that has not built in our young ones the need for entrepreneurship, having entrepreneurial skills and being able to have a self-development instead of just looking for a white-collar job and all that.
Well, thank you, Ma. I just believe that there's a whole lot that needs to change, and dramatically and practically as well. When I say dramatically, it has to change really, really fast. Speaking of the statistics, Pastor J, I'm not so sure if we still have up to 3 batches anymore. I was going around for Google. I was doing Bayelsa, Anambra, Edo, and Delta, all the NYC camps. I did that for 5 years, and Digital Skills for Africa, which was an entrepreneurial skill that Google wanted Africans to develop, quite a lot of sellable skills that are not related to what we studied in school, and are offering literally anywhere. If you have such skills, for instance, you can have clients anywhere in the world from anywhere you are.
Wow.
Just being a search engine optimizer, for instance, a search engine marketer, and so on and so forth, different things, about 14 of them. And so within that period, I found out that there were about 3 batches, and each of those batches had over 300,000 graduating students annually. So we had close to 1 million or more NYC people nationwide every single year. That, I don't know if it has changed, but that was, the status at that time. If you do that for 5 years, it means that you have about 5 million graduating students. The government apparently can't employ everybody, state and federal together. The statistics is very clear. Private sector, if you put all the major players in oil and gas, in banking, the banking sector, and the telcos together, what can be assimilated is very low as well. So apparently the way to go is to change drastically and urgently our educational system. I also want to mention, Mama, that the educational system as we know it was literally developed for the Industrial Revolution. And the Industrial Revolution started in 1860 something or thereabouts. And so schooling was developed for that period as it is, as we know it today. By January 2020, which was last year, just before COVID, officially the time scheduled for the ICT age to elapse changed in January last year, and we entered into what we now call the fourth industrial revolution. These things can be easily Googled up. And the fourth industrial revolution currently is characterized by a lot, from robotics to artificial intelligence to virtual reality, Internet of Things, machine learning and likes. It's serious. And Mama, painfully, there is no single university in Nigeria that is offering at least 99.9% of the skill needed to survive in the fourth industrial revolution as we know it globally. So what that means is this, that someone in India will continue to take our jobs. That's why a lot of multinationals who need tech support for this age will go and import them. All right. I happen to be actively involved in Nigerian Economic Summit Group. And one day while in Ikoyi, I was having a meeting and somebody pointed at a building where a foreign company was building a particular high-rise. And they said when it got to the time for the plumbing of that facility, they brought in our local plumbers and they couldn't interpret the architectural designs for the plumbing materials. So they wasted quite a lot of expensive plumbing materials. They had to stop the project and went straight to South Africa to ship in about 50 plumbers from South Africa who had been trained by their polytechnics to do that kind of work. Mama, we also know that right there in the city of Warri, we have massive camps of Benin Republic boys, Togolese, who are doing screeding and internal finishing of materials. Our boys don't want to do it. We want to make quick money. So apart from the government doing a whole lot, I'm going to toe the line of Pastor OJ that we need to help ourselves. And where the help needs to start is with us. We need to change our mindset, our psyche, our belief that it is money first. And I'm going to toe the line of Mama as well, who's just brought out what it is like abroad where you go do volunteer work. I kept talking about volunteer work for the last decade. And a lot of young people used to tell me, if I volunteer, how will I survive? And I tell them that wealth is intangible. True wealth is intangible. You can convert your experience to money. But if you lose the opportunity to develop that experience, you would have lost a lot. Don't go for money now. So having said all this, I just want to mention, and for someone watching out there, whether you're young or you're a parent of a teenager or someone who's graduated, I want to please beg that thank God for first degrees, thank God for ONDs, for NCEs, thank God for every certification. but I need to mention that is archaic. Yes, I'm in the HR space. I've done this consistently for over 10 years. I can tell you, even though that many jobs are still in place with certifications and all that, a lot is evolving. So having got children out of school, we need to go and retrain ourselves. And the Yorubas will say something about the child that that we train, that goes on to retrain himself, is the one the parents are most proud of. So that adage is the application of what I'm going to say. There's so much online. We need to go back to school, but this time school ourselves. Bill Gates who said it, that a time is coming when we'll be able to take a 4-year course in 3 months on our phones. So right now, anything you want to learn, I mentioned automation, cyber security, for instance. You want to learn it and you're wondering, do I have to go abroad? There's nobody. There's a whole lot to learn right now at the free level. There's a whole lot to learn right now at the free level. That's what I need to mention. Please go back, study and unlearn, relearn entrepreneurial skills. Choose a space and just go there. In any case, I just want to mention right now, if you're interested in money, if money is what you want to make, then go and learn digital skills and become an e-commerce entrepreneur. Yes, that's a little thing that I have begun to do within the last 1 year since COVID. And I can tell you predominantly that a major chunk of the income that I've had this year has been from e-commerce. I don't want to go into details. I know that's not what this is for, but just understand this entrepreneurship thing is not going away. But instead of just speaking entrepreneurship, ensure that it goes in line with what we currently are. Go digital, leverage on what we have. Go and become a digital entrepreneur. Become that. It might take 3 months to learn, but become it. And lastly, please, I just want to add this. Please, get a job. Get a job. Even if you want to start your own business, go and get a job. Work for someone. Even if you have to work for a quarter, 2 quarters, a year, just go and work. I can tell you for certain that a lot of us school in Nigeria, all right, a lot of us, whether we school in a state university or polytechnic or something, a lot of us don't have the capacity just yet, except we are mentored. And that's what I want to mention, that a job will give you 3 things. It will give you salary, and that's the list of what you get. Number 2, it will give you experience. Pastor Oji talked about that. That experience is key. So get a job for experience. Number 3, it will give you access to network or great relationships. All right? These 3 things are important when you get a job. But if you go volunteer and work for free, you might not get salary, but you get the 2. You get experience and you get relationships. And these 2 are critical in our world today. Painfully, the value of relationships, keeps going higher ultimately, while the value of experience depreciates because there are new ways of doing things. So value relationships. When you go and work,
there are new
value
ways
of doing things.
There are new ways of doing things.
Yes,
I know you
ma'am.
can just go on,
Yes, ma'am.
so much to talk about when you're actually looking at potentials and the ability to cultivate.
ma'am.
Now, the last question before we get into the next thing is, why is it so hard to find your purpose in life? The young ones out there will be wondering, why is it so hard? How can I find my purpose? I'm lost. What do you have to say concerning that?
Yeah, I think it's a difficult thing to find your purpose, because a lot of people don't know what is their purpose. But the truth of the matter, I want to relate to what Pastor Rume said. The 4 things: look up, look inward, behind. What's the 4th one?
I think
Look around you.
look around
you. Thank you for the help.
Thank you. At least we got 3 right.
Yes, we got 3 right. So that is it, because it's how do I know this is my purpose in life? It's difficult, but the truth of the matter is, I believe that anything you find pleasure doing, that's your
I was
purpose.
just going to say that. That's
Anything
beautiful.
you find pleasure doing,
Yeah.
it might not even give you money right now, but in the long run,
It will.
it would. So in the Bible, the Bible says Moses had a staff in his hands, and he had it for a long time.
True. But he didn't know he was going to
He
bring him
didn't
to
know.
greatness.
He didn't know he would bring him to greatness because God said, "What's in your hand? You have something in your
Something in
hand."
your hand.
He said, "It's just a step." So
I
drop
love
it.
that.
So,
I love that.
So, for us,
So it is what you call it then.
it's what you call it there.
It's what you call it.
Correct, man.
It's
You
what-
see, if you want to discover your purpose, it has to come from the inside of you.
Yes.
You must search inside and see what you have.
Something that comes to you
naturally.
You don't
with
have
ease,
to struggle with ease.
Without too much struggle, without
yes.
too much hard work.
Yeah.
You know, that's your purpose, that's your calling.
Yeah.
So, and if you stay on it and push it and drive it with all the things we've listed, then you can get to your destination.
Oh my God. You know, whenever we're having a discussion that has to do with something of this nature, because I am very particular with people actually making it great in life. And I want to be seen as someone who loves to add value. So that's why we've really spent a lot of time looking into some of those things. However, hey, we have social media questions that will later be handled during the course of this program. You might want to call in or anything, but what we would advise you to do is to just send us a text rather for today's program. Just send us a text and all that, and we'll make sure we'll handle them somewhat, we'll handle them anyway. We'll see how it goes with the social media questions that we already have on hand, and then we'll be able to attend to whatever comes during the course of this program as well. Okay? I am extremely happy because I know that someone is getting this. And the next thing we're going to be looking at, is how to bring out some of the Yahoo boys, because we live in Warren. 13-year-old boys, they are now driving cars.
Yeah.
In fact, I heard of one who has to support himself with a cushion or something or pillow just to be able to see the screen. I mean, that's serious. Wow. That shows the level. And when we talk about Yahoo boys, we're talking about those who are into fraudulent acts. Yeah. Some of them are even going diabolical just to be able to make money. And the only reason is because they've not been able to look inward. Yeah. So what do we do to getting these people back on track and helping them? So I want our two resource people to handle that later on. But in the meantime, we have Maybe Prosper. And of course, he wants to take us away by singing. You don't want to miss that at all. Okay? Maybe. Do what you know how to do.
I want to say a big thank you to Mama Ellie for giving me this great opportunity. Mama, thank you so very much.
I can't do nothing without you by my side. Yeah. Whoa, yeah. Every day and night I pray, I'm making you my everything. You told me you were always there. Every time I call your name, I can't live without you. I don't wanna go home without you, 'cause I need you right here with me. I can't do nothing without you by my side. Yeah. I can't do nothing without you by my side. I can't do nothing without you by my side. Yeah. I can't do nothing without you by my side. Trouble always come around. You reached out and you pulled me out. Tell me, how can I live without you? If I leave you, I will die. The battle is not lost if I got him by my side. I know victory is certain. Without you by my without you by my side. By my side, you've always been there for me through the rain and sun. By my side, you've always been there for me through the rain and sun. Without you, Lord, without you by my side, without you by my side, I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I need you, Lord. I don't wanna go home without you. Jesus, I need you. Can't be without you. Hey, 'cause I need you right here with me. Cannot live without you. Cannot stay without you. Cannot breathe. Cannot live. I want you with me, Lord. Stay with me, Lord. 'Cause I'm nothing without you. 'Cause I need you right here with me. I need you, Lord. I'm nothing without you. I can't Cause I'm nothing without you.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here. Touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive.
Now, welcome back. This is the Mama Helen and you, all the way from Warri, Nigeria today. Now, let me ask you this question. What is going on right now within? What are the things you are thinking about right now? What do you think you want to do next, after today's program? How do you want to dust yourself out of your condition? Because that's the most important thing. To hear is one thing, but to do is another. Okay? You want to be able to apply. Something must come out of this. And hey, we want to hear from you. We want to hear your success story and your adventures as well. It would be nice for us to hear from you. I think that's what I've just tried to say. Now, we're going to be looking at some questions that we actually got from social media hand, and let's see how far that would take us before we get into other things during the course of this program. Don't go away. Don't touch the dial. It can only get better. You know that, right? It's the Mama Helen and you. So the very first question is coming from Celestine Akuna, and it says, I am a Nigerian, but I live in Douala, Cameroon. My question is, why is it so difficult to find one's purpose in life? I still don't know mine, and I'm 39. Please help me. Well, Douala, if you've been paying attention, that was just handled actually, and we were actually told that we should follow our drive. What makes us happy, what we do without being paid. I mean, even if you're not paid at all, you might be paid, but even if you're not paid at all, you just love doing it anyway. For example, what I'm doing, I just love doing it.
Yeah.
I love adding value. I love making people's life better. If there is anything that gives me joy and fulfillment, is if I can at least get a smile out of your face, then you have made my day. I can go home and sleep, and I will sleep so beautifully. So it's not about me, it's about people, and I love that. I'm very people oriented, and I also found out that my husband is as well. So anyway, what we're saying in essence is that, okay, what are those things that gets you up in the middle of the night, and you can do it in the morning, and no one is going to, even stop you because you have passion for it. So discover that, and that will solve it. Thank you so much, Mama. I am physically challenged, and I didn't really have an opportunity to have a formal education. How can I discover the genius in me? Momudu from Ikorodu, Lagos. What would you have to say to them?
Is physically challenged. Oh, wow. Well, Mamadou, I'll say to you, don't allow your situation or condition determine your destination. Yeah, I've seen people who are physically challenged and they are successful.
Extremely.
So find the passion, your purpose in life, which is what Mama just talked about. Your dream, what you enjoy doing. And work on that aspect of your life. Yes. Work on that area and begin to push. Yes, I'm not saying if you start today, things will just work out. It might take time, nobody knows. But just begin to push on that line and that area of your life. And I guarantee you, you will find your true purpose in life.
You will find your true purpose. Well, is Pastor, are you going to say something concerning that as well?
Yes, I just wanted to mention that he can get a mentor.
Okay.
And maybe that might be too much, but it will help you a great deal, Mamadou. The person will guide you a great deal through what you need to do. Just like it's been mentioned, amazing people doing great things with their lives. And so please, if you can, you would see how you can be guided through that. In any case, you also mentioned you didn't go to school. So one of the things you could do is that you can look for someone who can teach you stuff. That's what we call apprenticeship. An apprenticeship is
get
key.
a skill. It should get a skill.
Yes,
isn't it?
get a skill.
He needs to get a skill. In addition to what has been said, Momodu, go and get a skill. There must be something that you're talented in. Okay, think about that and go for be trained. By it. I've seen, people who are challenged in this area who went through school and they are doing marvelously well. Those also who didn't go to school, one way or the other, they've been able to develop some level of skills, and today they are using it productively. Okay, so we wish you well in your chosen path. We have Anita from Jos, and he says, I lost myself a long time ago. I'm far from being the person I was. Oh no, Anita. Seriously? I used to be vibrant, focused, and creative. How do I get myself back on track? William Anita from Jos.
Pastor, you want to go?
Anita, the truth is that many of us have been there. I have been there myself. In fact, twice or maybe 3 times. And one of the easiest things that is, you could quickly do, and please don't discountenance this. I said this earlier. In a generation like this, a lot of us keep feeling that God doesn't hear us. And this is what he says. He says, call unto me and I will answer you. That's an invitation from God. He says, then I will answer you. After that, I'll show you great and mighty things you do not know. That is God. So spend some time doing that. But while you're at that, again, go back to those things we've talked about. Try to look at where you left off. All right? Look around you and see if you've completely lost the desire to work, the willingness to serve, then please look for somebody who is currently doing something and just connect your service to them. Go and spend some time around them. Work for them. All right? In fact, this is the time to leave your house and genuinely go and serve. All right. So for me, there was a time when that happened to me. I completely lost my drive, lost direction, lost focus, and I felt like I wasn't going to achieve anything anymore. The easiest thing then was for me to talk to God about it. And secondly, I went to submit myself to a mentor. I literally was carrying his bag. I literally was doing everything. And honestly, I don't want to go into details, but a lot of people felt I was mad. I was crazy. And I didn't have, truly, I didn't have a direction. So the one way I could spark up that again was to go serve someone who had that spark. And while I was busy serving him, God gave me back my strength. Because he says that if you are faithful in another man's, he will give you your own true riches. And that is the truth. So please, where you are in Jos, look for somebody who has that spark, serve that person.
Get your
And
spark
while you're
back.
doing
Get
that,
your spark back.
yes,
All right.
yes.
I need some
Awesome, Pastor.
I need some advice to you. You can also get some books, read
Get
some
some
biography about people, because you see, Mama, people see you here, they don't know the challenge you've been through in life.
That's true.
If you didn't share it, I wouldn't know. So before you get to your place of destiny, sometimes you go through some
You
phase,
go through stuff, yes.
and you have to encourage yourself.
Yes. You have to pick
So you have to
yourself.
encourage, pick yourself up. Yes, life is not fair.
Yeah.
Pick yourself up. Encourage, speak to yourself, and tell you, I can do this. You did it before, you can do it
You
again.
can do it again.
So
Awesome.
get some books,
Pick
read
yourself
about people,
Okay.
about a story that can also motivate you.
All right. In addition to what our resource people have said, hey, you are not your problem. I think you're beginning to define yourself by what you are going through, and that's why you're still wallowing. You need to look up and see a new you, a better you. Okay? The future is greater, is better. Stop wallowing in self-pity and feeling sorry for whatever might have happened that are necessary to where you find yourself now. Because, hey, if you lost yourself, that means that you once had it. So go back again and rediscover yourself. There is no stopping you, baby. You can still do it again. Get your spark back. Stop looking down on yourself or judging yourself by what you have been through or what you're going through. Look up and see the horizon shining, looking good. And of course, before you know it, hey, the story will change. It must. There is nobody on earth that hasn't been through something. Just like what our pastor just said. Oh yeah, and we still keep going through things.
Yes.
Okay, but the only thing is that you don't allow whatever that is happening around you to define you. You must never allow that. Okay, you must always rise above. Be an eagle. Keep flying. All right. George Abraka from Abraka, and he says, I have engaged in different trades. Yes, I feel unfulfilled, uncertain about all of them. How do I find my purpose? So he keeps fishing, and he's still fishing, and he's yet to find his purpose. What's going on here? Who wants to pick it?
Okay. You see, you keep trying different things, which is very good. If this one failed, you can try this one. But among those things, there's something.
I was going to say that, because, I think it's the patient who sees things through. That seems to be one of his problems, the patient who sees things through.
Yes.
Because people just believe that, oh, you're okay, you just wake up and start. So there are teething period in everything in life.
Correct, ma'am.
Teaching period. If you have a business, you will know. A businessman who is making it good today will tell you that he must have been through a teaching period. In every profession, you go through a teaching period. One of the reasons why people keep jumping from one business or the other is because they do not have the capacity to see through the one that they have in hand. Finish with one, and then you can add and add and add and add. That's what growth is all about. So don't. Anyway, I am not the resource person, but I just picked on that because I just couldn't.
Point. You just flew it.
Oh my God! I'm not the resource person for today, but hey, okay, focus on one and get result from it, because the beauty of being called a successful person is your ability to score one goal. And when you celebrate that one goal, then you can call others.
Yes.
Okay, and get used to scoring more. All right, I'm sure our pastor, he's nodding his head and probably will have something to say concerning
No. I think you're good, man.
All right, and then we have Beke as Oju Beke as from Asaba, and he says, oh my God, I feel brain drain, help. I have no drive, no strength, and no courage to do anything. How do I change all that? It's quite similar with the one we had earlier on, but perhaps you still want to press further on this.
Mama, I don't know if I'm permitted to just quickly say a word of blessing to you, wherever you're watching from, that whatever is holding you down, you'll be free from it. That is break free from energy sapping relationships, people, or like Mama said earlier, don't let what you've gone through define you. And it might sound very easy. Maybe it's not easy for you to do, but that's why I prayed for grace for you now at a time like this, that you bounce back and you will be a testimony to, many around you. All right, please. I just want to add this. Remember this. Every one of us have it. We have stories to share. This part of your brain drain is a major part of that story. In fact, if you didn't get here, your story would not be interesting. So let me just say to you, God needs you to go through this. We need you to go through this. We need you to come back strong so that you can be a blessing to our world. Right?
Oh, so true. Thank you so very much, Pastor Rome, for at least blessing. I think the word of blessing you have released on her is more than enough to set her free. And it is amen from us to you as well, wherever you are watching. And may I also just, as well, wherever you are watching. And may I also just, heart this as well. And it's to say to you, okay, that no matter what you are going through, that is not the end of the story. The real story is yet to come. Okay? Dust yourself up. Get up from this pity party. What drains us seriously is when we keep dwelling on the negativity.
Yeah.
We dwell more on what is bad. There is always something good from every situation. Always look out for what is good. If the world offer you mountain, look for a ladder to climb.
That's
because you know that mountain is not going to move. When Jesus says, be thou removed, he's not saying physically that the stone, it's not that someone was said, in the Bible, God said, when you speak to the mountain, it shall remove. So he went to a big one in my place. I didn't get it. And he said, in the name of Jesus, I prophesy to you, mountain, be thou removed. He was there for the first, second, and the 7 days. He was still fasting and praying. So, and then any man passed by and said, I was hearing you shouting, mountain, move. Young man, this is a natural thing. The mountain there that God is talking about is sometimes spiritual.
Yes.
And all we're saying is that see it change. Because the only thing that is subject to change is change itself.
That's right.
Okay? It will change. And it will change in your favor.
Amen.
Just keep pressing. Even when you don't feel like waking up in the morning, still get up anyway. Drink some coffee. Do something new. Tell yourself a true story that it can only get better. And one day it will get better. It's never too late for you. You will still ride on the mountain of success. Amen. By his grace in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Okay, the next question for Belly from Worry, Timmy Belly. And he says, I want to say is, okay, Mama, how do I know I have found my genius? How do I know? That came, that was addressed, while we were deliberating on the subject matter, but hey, how do I know I've found it? And, a lot of things came up. Maybe you want to just reinforce that?
Yes.
And Pastor Rome as well.
You know when you do something extraordinary.
Field. You be at peace. You're not competing with anybody. Even you see a lot of people. Yes.
You're driving yourself. You're in your element. I love to fish in my elements. Okay. Johanna Bauchi, Israel Johanna Bauchi, and he says, I have never been a smart person. Who told you? But I admire those who are, and I would like to be like them. What do I do? Oh my God, he is actually second guessing himself. This is the greatest challenge here now. Lack of confidence. He feels he is not smart. And he wants to be like he wants to be the smartest person in the room. How do we get him to do that?
I want to look at it in the positive light. You see, I also believe that when you are doing something, let people be the judge. Let people be the judge. So he might be saying he's not smart. I might be the smartest person in the room.
Yes.
So what I want to tell him, smartness is all defined by the outcome of your work. That's what makes you smart, the outcome of your work. If I give you something to do, how quick do you do it? If you are engaged in something, how well do you do it? Yeah, and sometimes we also want to aspire to be like people who are successful. Does not mean we are not smart. It's just that we just want to get better. So maybe that's what he's talking about. And you can get better. The people that you are looking up to, look at them critically, follow their footstep, get words from them, look at the positive side, grab it, apply it to what you are doing, and you will get there.
And you get there. Well, that statement, isn't that statement very condescending? What do we do to help him? Because, I mean, no one succeeds in life without some level of confidence. You have to be able to exhibit that. Even when you're looking for a job, you know, if all you think about is, I can't get it, these people are better than me, and all that. That's a fulfillment of prophecy when I did my master's. What did you have to do to say concerning that?
Okay, very quick one. I just want to add something to that. When you compare yourself with others, you will definitely come short, because you'll be looking at the strengths of others and forgetting that you are already someone with strengths too. We all have our strengths and our weaknesses. You have seen everybody from their very good sides, and they've not showed you their weaknesses. You need to look for your own strength and push out your strength. Very good singer like Promise, for instance. You can't begin to want to sing like him and compare yourself to him and say he's a superstar when yours might just be drawing or cooking and all that. So when Promise, who is a great singer, meets you at your place of strength, he will celebrate you too. So you need to find out what it is that is you are about. There is nobody that is not good at something. So don't compare yourself and say people are smart because they talk smart and they look good and they can do calculus and all that. I had a friend who was very good in further maths in secondary school. He was the best. And the truth is, I can't even go into details right now. So don't compare yourself with anybody. And please, I would love to recommend it. Yes, ma'am. Mama, please, I'd love to recommend this book to him. It's a book that helped me. Attitude is Everything by Kit Farrell. That book will help you develop your own self-esteem. The attitude is what you need to change. Don't look down on yourself. So look for that material. It might help you as well.
On yourself, there are no to you. Your word is waiting for you. Just happen, okay? All right. Okay. Well, so we did say we were going to be talking about the Yahoo boys. We are from Warri, Wafarians, and we know what goes on here. You know, we have quite a lot of our young boys who are so heavily into this, and why? Because they want it fast. They don't want to leave they don't want to follow the process. They want to live the life, and that is actually putting a lot of our young ones even out of school as well, because then to them, why go to school if you can make this same money, you know how that. So what do you have to say? School now scam. Okay, you even know that deeper. Pick it up since you've started.
Okay, Mama. Thank you very much, Ma. I was looking forward to this part because there's quite a lot around that is not helping us. But what you're doing now on this platform, Mama Helen and you, helping to inspire top values in people who feel that we have to do it overnight. This is very, very good. And this is something that I know that we as the body of Christ needs to do at a time like this, and increase the training models we have for the current generation. And we call them Gen Zs. Gen Zs, that's what we call them now. Very, very in a hurry, very quick, and impatient. I was taking a study of the Gen Zs. I found out that they are, very money conscious. Very. That's why you get a Gen Z to play the keyboard for you. He needs to ask you how much you want to pay him first before he can play for you, and so on and so forth. They put the money first, and I kept wondering why until I went to realize that it's part of the characteristics of the Gen Z. And so I asked God, if you created this generation like that, very technology savvy, very entrepreneurial driven, very upwardly mobile, the characteristics are just of every single generation from baby boomers to millennials and so on. The Gen Z has upgraded all our characteristics very, very. And the generation after them, which is our children, we call them the alpha generation. Those ones might be too hyper for us if we currently can't handle the Gen Zs. So that's why I said for us, I know that we have to change the curriculum and keep upgrading and training like we're doing now. But for the Gen Z, listen to us right now, please. That and honestly, this statement might not mean anything to some of you because some people say to themselves that they don't mind dying quickly as long as they've enjoyed life. Some of them know they've gone to sell their soul and they say, yes, yes, ma, yes, ma, I've seen that. I've seen that. I don't want to go into details right now. I've seen that. Mama, it will shock you to know that in our city, Warri, there's association of Yahoo mothers. Yes, yes. My wife was in. Yes, ma. It's currently it's right now. It's trending. A mother who was part of that group, trying to pull her child out because he was going mental and all that, came for a prayer meeting of women and said, I've been a member of that organization. Women who want to send their children into this thing come, and so it's coming from the top. It's not just children anymore, and it's a whole lot. It's a crazy system, and devil is having a field day over this generation. And so we know that as aggressively as we need to stand up and stand in a gap, we also need to change the curriculum. We can't do anything now urgently. There'll be a lot on our plate. There'll be too many cases to handle. Some would have gone into all manner of things and can't come back. There'll be too many destitutes out there because it's anti-covenant to break a principle. And you cannot break the stone. The stone will break you. So when you try to break the law of wealth creation and try to break, cut corners, eventually the corners break us. And so when that happens, there are so many casualties. That's why I said the next 10 to 15 years, there'll be too many casualties to handle. And so it calls for a timely intervention right now. I think the only thing I'm going to just say is that I pray for the grace of God to the young person who is in it right now and feels that there's no way out. I also pray for the young person who is almost in and is under pressure to join. I pray for you. Receive grace, to be strong in your values and stay away from it. Because what looks like gold right now is actually a death trap. It's a death trap. And it's not good. And so that's just what I would love to say, man.
Fantastic, Pastor Ruben. Well,
Wonderful, 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 Pastor Ruben. Thank you for that. I mean, you've really addressed it. Before COVID, I saw those problems, so I tried to start something called the Inspirational Network. It's a interdenominational youth movement. So we did one session, then COVID came. I couldn't continue because it's really dear to my heart to find a way and purpose for these young ones. Because if we don't do anything about it, it will remain there and it will haunt us in the future. So I want to give you a perfect example, Mama. One time, a boy who is a teacher opened a barbering salon, nice, beautiful barbering salon. And he told me, Pastor, I can't find barbers. I said, oh, don't worry, I will find you one. Because my church, we have close to 2,000 members, and we are 80% youth.
Wow.
80% youth.
Oh, fantastic.
So I was confident. I said, I have too many youths, I will find. So I began to announce it for 3 months. And do it the other way around. And one thing too, Mama, I also want to charge the church. The church too also have responsibilities.
Okay.
Like every beginning of the year, I do what I call the business series. I try to teach them entrepreneurship. If you in school, we'll do something about school.
Yes, yes.
If you're trying to start a business, we'll talk about it. So that, because how do we tell them to stop?
Yeah, we have to. It cannot always be Holy Ghost fire. Holy Ghost
Yes,
fire.
Mama.
And that's
Because
why people pray. They pray year in year out, and they have nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it.
There's no practical.
Mama, these Yahoo boys, they are saving money right now, and I'm going to preach to him. I say, stop doing Yahoo. If I don't give him an alternative, he will still go back to it.
So true.
So
that's what I meant by changing curriculum.
Correct. So we need to do more. That's why we thank God, Mama, for this platform. This is a wonderful, huge platform. We need to do more. That's why we thank God, Mama, for this platform. This is a wonderful, huge platform for us, for the youth, to do something about their life. And I want to thank you for it, Ma'am.
Oh, no, not at all. Thank you too for being here. I mean, it's been a wonderful experience. Well, we can go on forever. Everything good sometimes must have a pause, and then you move on. But I will want you to speak into the camera. There's someone watching, and the person is saying, all right, what do I do now? What do I do now? Please.
Okay, I just want to talk to you. Yes, it's a very, very valid question, because I was talking to somebody and he told me, Pastor, why would you blame these young ones where there are no jobs? There are no jobs out there. What are they supposed to do? Yes, that is the situation we find ourselves. But the truth of the matter is, the same way what is done in the dark can also be done in light. The same way you are applying Yahoo, even though you're doing Yahoo, it also takes skills. So, and you are doing something online. You can use the same energy and do something online that is genuine, that is real, that is, you can go into forex, you can go into there's so many. Pastor Rume talk about the e-commerce business in online. There's so much you can do online now. It must not be something bad, because when you are doing something bad, most especially those ones
pay dearly for it.
Yes, most especially those ones who go out of their way to do the extra. You are just putting your life at risk. Mama, just want to share this with somebody. There's a boy in my church who walked up to me and told me, Pastor, I tried to kill my mother. I tried to kill my sacrifice. I bought a ram. I did everything. This is true reality. And I said to him, you're not just going to me, you're going to say this in front of your mother. And I called the mother, and the mother came, and he was staying. The mother, Mama, I was crying. I'm sorry. I tried to use you, but your head didn't agree. Your head did not agree. The ram was there for 6 months. The ram was there. Instead, after some time, the boy became the ram himself. It was God. He turned around. He was back like a ram, doing everything. I can't describe it. I can't say everything here. But I'm just trying to encourage somebody. You can lose your mind by doing that. But there are alternatives. You can go online, find something, educate yourself. Even the cryptocurrency market is a very large market. Let me tell you, the forex market, forex is real, it's not fake. The forex market do about 4 trillion every day. Every day, about $4 trillion every day. It's a very huge market. The crypto market is another one. Other things you can do online. While I was doing my business series, I told somebody something. I was telling the young man, I said, you can also be smart. One of the ways to be smart, I'm wearing shoes right now. You can go to ShopRite, snap a shoe there, and put it online. I said, look, I can get you this shoe. You already know the price. Just add little. By the time they order, they pay you, you can go get the shoe. That is a practical way of doing something.
So true.
God bless you, and I pray God will deliver our city from this. Amen. Pastor Rume, over to you.
Pastor Rume, the ball is passed. That was incredible, by the way. I mean, and you spoke passionately. I can't even believe. I mean, the story you just told now.
It's true,
I mean, it isn't as if we haven't had something, but I've never really sat down with someone who could bring it that home to the level at which you have, because it's a first-hand experience that you had with the young man.
Yes,
I know that, and thank God the head of the mother rejected it.
Yes.
Oh, woo, woo. May our heads continue to reject anything evil.
Amen.
In Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen. Amen.
Please go ahead, Pastor Rume.
Mama, first of all, thank you so much. Not just for having us, thank you for what you represent to a generation. Thank you for what you're doing. I'm sure you know that you have inspired all of us. So May God continue to bless you and strengthen you. Amen. In closing as well, I just want to mention that honestly, sometimes when people look at us, they say, it's because you have lived abroad. It's because you grew up in Lagos. It's because your father was rich. They have different excuses as to why they cannot do right. I have come to a place in my life now that every time I have the opportunity to speak to young people, which I do literally almost every week, I start by sharing my own story. And the reason I do that is so that somebody can connect, that if God can bring this guy out of, this kind of place, don't have an excuse. Because when we start sharing principles with young people without them connecting what we are sharing with, our own personal journey, they feel we are just blabbing. So I just want somebody to know, all right, that, yeah, all of us have come out of low places. In fact, it shock you, more than 80% of the most wealthy people on the earth have come out of humble backgrounds. They didn't inherit their wealth. They created their first generation billionaires and millionaires. And I know that that will be your story. But right about now, I just want to add that please, please, and please, and please, even if you don't have a job, your biggest job right now is to work on yourself. Even if you don't have anything, it might look slow, but work on yourself. Just work on yourself. By that I mean, we've talked about a lot of things. Look for something to read, to listen to, get a mentor. I'm telling you, there's no how you will not go astray if you don't have guidance, because you can only produce what you know to the level of knowledge that you have. All right. And that's my own personal story. That's my personal story. I got married at 20, 27, going on 28. It was a choice. And in my family, people don't do that. And then I got one to a distant, a particular time in my life, my elder ones called and said, and this is the summary of it. He said, only God has helped you. It's because you became a Christian on time. Your story is different from our story. So people can actually testify really that, that when you begin to expose your mind to certain things, if you sit down to learn, you'll grow. So please, more than anything else that I'm going to say as we close, please get someone to sit under as a mentor, not a tormentor, as a true mentor. Look for someone to say, get up now, you don't have a job, go somewhere, dress up neatly, go somewhere, go and work for free. And I tell you something, every place that I have worked for free, they eventually paid me. While I was going back to school as a student, they usually would give me a check that this is your salary for 3 months. You came for free, but so real people who can see your heart, they will give you that money back. But please don't go after money yet. Money will look for you. That's my prayer for you. That's my prayer for you. Don't be under pressure. Don't look at the Rolls Royce that are around, driven by young men, and feel that God is not on the throne. All right? That is just a passing, that's nothing. What God has in store for you is mighty, and He cannot put a great future on your life until you have built capacity for it. And that's my advice. That's my closing charge to you. Thank you, Mama, again for having us. God bless you, ma.
Not at all, Pastor Rumen, and of course, Pastor Oruma.
Yes,
Pastor Oruma, it's such a pleasure. Thank you so very much for pouring out your heart to us. I'm sure everyone out there watching today must have said that, hey, this is the best time ever in my life. It isn't time wasted at all. Thank you so much for bringing out the very best in you. And to all our audience out there, we also want to say a big thank you to you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being a part of this program. Hear me. The difference between extraordinary and ordinary is the extra word, the extra bit. You can actually be extraordinary by adding extra, going the extra mile in making life beautiful and better for you. And it starts from your little beginning. Don't despise the little beginning. Look inward, bring out something about you. After all, you know that there is no human being on earth that hasn't come to this world with something that is unique that the world is looking for. If you would allow that thing that in you to come out, before you know it, you will not sit amongst mere men. You will sit amongst the high and mighty. And it is what you carry that would lead you to where you sit on the net. Perhaps you're going to be sitting around the president tomorrow. But hey, it starts from now. Do something. Okay? The greatest challenge we have is that sometimes we have a lot of information, but no action to it. Do something with your life. Get going. Get your hands dirty. It can only be better. Yahoo boy, maybe you're there. You have a life. Get one. Okay? Don't sit on your horse thinking that life is just all about making money and doing it in a sacrificial or diabolical way. It's not the best way to ride a life, because you will pay for it one way or the other. Go back to yourself again. The genius in you is crying out and is saying, help me, lose me, let me be, so that I can make you too. We want to see you made, and you will be made. Amen. By the special grace of God. Amen. Discovering the genius in you gives you peace of mind, helps you understand yourself, and empowers you for a greater future. Once your genius has been discovered, you'll find that your life opens itself up in ways you never thought possible. You would experience new depths of opportunity, and your eyes will be opened to all the possibilities around you. So, this is the time. Get going, get moving, get it done, and be you. The greater one is in you, and around you, you are the next person we are looking for, because you are great. Well, it's been such a wonderful thing spending time with these wonderful men, and I'm sure you want to also say thank you to them as well. It can only get better on Mama Helen and you, and yes, on ABN as well. So you want to do something, go to my page and like it. Okay, go to just type in Helen Orishijafo, and it will take you right there, and just click on it and like, okay, and make a comment, do something, okay. And you also want to do the same thing to my husband's page as well, and ABN, and what have you. One family, getting to our destination in a different way, but achieving purpose to the glory of God. Love you. God bless your heart. Should I say this? There is one Albert Einstein out there. There is one Papa Hayo out there. There is one Mama Helen out there. There is one Pastor Oruma out there. There is one Pastor Rume out there. There is one you out there. Be you, do you, and be great. Thank you again. God bless.
Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here, touching lives, impacting world. It's your time to receive. Oh yeah, Mama Helen TV show. Mama Helen is here.
Showing every day at 8:30 a.m. and 6:30 p.m. West African time on the African Broadcasting